Once, in a small town nestled by a winding railway track, there lived a man named Mr. Higgins. He was the signalman, responsible for ensuring the trains traveled safely on their way. The job was a lonely one, for the only company he had was the echoing clang of the metal rails and the distant hoots of the trains. One misty evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Mr. Higgins saw something strange out of the corner of his eye. A faint figure stood by the tracks, its form shimmering like moonlight on water. The figure beckoned to him, its finger tracing urgent patterns through the air. Terrified, Mr. Higgins stumbled back into his signal box, heart pounding like the rhythm of a speeding train. He tried to shake off the chilling encounter, convincing himself it was just a trick of the mist. But the figure returned, night after night, always at dusk. Each time, it seemed more desperate, its movements more frantic. It never spoke, but its message was clear: danger was coming. One stormy night, as lightning cracked the sky and thunder roared like an angry beast, the figure appeared once again. Its eyes bored into Mr. Higgins, filled with a sorrowful plea. This time, there was no doubt something terrible was about to happen. Mr. Higgins knew he had to decipher the message. He studied the tracks, searching for any sign of trouble. Suddenly, it struck him, a loose rail, perilously close to giving way. If a train were to pass over it, disaster would surely follow. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Mr. Higgins rushed to the emergency lever. He pulled it with all his might, sending the signal lights blazing red. The warning echoed down the line, alerting any approaching trains. Moments later, a distant rumble grew louder, and the ground beneath him trembled. A freight train thundered into view, its headlights piercing through the storm. The engineer spotted the red signal and slammed on the brakes just in time, screeching to a halt just before the weakened rail. As the storm subsided and the danger passed, Mr. Higgins looked out into the mist. The figure was gone, but a sense of gratitude lingered in the air. The message had been received, and disaster had been averted. From that night on, the figure never returned. It seemed its purpose had been fulfilled. Mr. Higgins resumed his duties, but he was never alone on those tracks again. He felt the presence of a grateful spirit watching over him. And so, the legend of the signalman's ghost spread through the town, a reminder that sometimes help comes from the most unexpected of places. The railway tracks remained safe, and Mr. Higgins knew that he owed it all to the mysterious figure in the mist.